Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining me here on this lovely, sunshiny Thursday. The rain has finally moved out, and we can all get back outside and enjoy some of this nice spring weather we're having out there. Before we jump into all the hockey news, my little boy, luckily, we're starting T-ball again this year, and practice was canceled on Tuesday, but he got his team assignment for the year, and he's on the Blue Jays right here. His cute little hat. Of course, I couldn't be more excited being a Blue Jays fan myself. So we went to the first practice, and I had all my Blue Jays gear on, and the coach is like, "Oh, you're actually a Blue Jay fan." And I'm like, "Man, this is awesome!" When I when I get that email, so a lot of fun, super cute. And yeah, hopefully the weather will hold so we can get some practices in for him. But anybody that has little ones, these times of first time doing sports, whether it be soccer, basketball, whatever, baseball, it's just so cute, so fun, and I'm just going to embrace every last second of it. So let's dive in. We have got a lot to talk about today. Going to do a quick dive into these playoff series. We're going to start with Toronto and Florida. Of course, Toronto up 2-0 now after last night's win. Series moves to Florida Friday night. That will be a 7 o'clock drop down there in Miami. Listen, I mean, through two games, Toronto, I think really their skating has been the difference. Their speed is really helping them, beat Florida, with that forechecking game that they have. Something we talked about when we previewed the series, that speed and skating for Toronto could be a key, would have to be a key if they want to avoid that heavy pressure and the forechecking from the Panthers. I'd say through two games so far, so good. Better effort for the Panthers, I would say, though, in game two. That third line is making just a absolutely huge difference. Lundell, Lusterinen, and Marchand. Last game, they combined for 2 goals and 3 assists. I will not be shocked if that line gets a little bit more time on the ice as we head into game number three. Bobrovsky, yeah, I mean, a little pedestrian, I'd say at this point. I think he needs to be a little bit tighter if they want to climb back into the series. They don't appear worried. I mean, this is a Florida team, of course, been to the Cup the last 2 years, Stanley Cup champion. Not a whole lot rattles them, but game three, I think you got to get it. You don't want to go down 3-0, of course. And I hate the cliche. Oh, it's a must win game three. Well, sure, you want to win it. It's not necessarily a must win, but yeah, you don't want to get down 3-0. I have a feeling that Florida's going to battle back. I do think they're going to be um, probably a heavy favorite going into that game three. Yeah, but listen, good on the Leafs, taking care of home ice, putting themselves in the driver's seat in this series. For Woll in net, look good. 25 saves on 28 shots there last night. And latest reports here, this is coming from Mark Masters of TSN on X, that Craig Berube doubting that Anthony Stolarz will travel today with the team to Florida. So he's just saying he's not going to travel. Doesn't mean anything for a game. Maybe he travels tomorrow. I don't know, but looking like it's going to be Wall's net for game three. I think that's what we should take out of that. And hopefully Stolarz can get better and can get back out there. But so far, so good for Toronto. Definitely in the driver's seat. I do still expect this to be a long series, and I will be shocked if Florida bows out quickly, but we will see. Moving on to Carolina and Washington, just the one game. Of course, they get back at it tonight at 7 o'clock. Carolina up in the series 1-0. Uh, yeah, really pedestrian effort by Washington in that first game. Kind of sluggish, only 14 shots on goal. That's unacceptable. If you're going to win in the playoffs, that is obviously unacceptable. Listen, I think both teams are going to look better tonight. Both had quite a bit of rest as they finish up their series kind of quickly in the first round, and both looked a little bit rusty. I do expect better out of both clubs tonight. Goaltending was sharp though on both sides. I really like what you saw in net for both teams. We know that Carolina is a heavy shot team. They are absolutely a quantity over quality. That's pretty consistent. I was consistent in that first game. I do think Washington may want to take a page out of that book. Um, get shots on net. Make Anderson work a little bit. He got way too comfortable, I would say, in this game, despite the fact Washington had the lead for a good bulk of it. But let's look at the shots for some of these players for Washington. You had one shot for Strome, one shot for Ovi, one shot for Wilson, and no shots for PLD, McMichael, and Mangiapane. I mean, again, obvious statement here, guys, but that simply needs to change. You need a whole lot more out of those groups of guys there, and I think you will. I think you will. I think it's going to still be a very low scoring series, but we'll see what sort of energy both teams can come out. I would expect better out of Washington tonight. Dallas and Winnipeg, of course, that series got kicked off last night. Dallas winning that one, now up 1-0 in the series. Holy smokes, Mikko Rantanen staying hot with another hat trick. That's two hat tricks in a row. This is borderline historic what he is doing here. If he can keep up any semblance of this pace, this could be a real historic run for him. So that's been just a lot of fun to see. Jason Robertson did return in this one. He skated for 13 minutes, 44 seconds, got a shot, got one hit. I think they were kind of easing him back into the game. Wasn't super noticeable, but also was very good to see him back out there. I would imagine as this series goes on, he's going to get stronger and get more time out there on ice. Ottinger in net was absolutely brilliant, 29 saves on 31 shots. So good there. And on the other side, of course, Mark Scheifele returning, and he looked fantastic. Looked like he hadn't missed a beat. Very active. Did have a goal on 7 shots. And then absolutely excellent at the faceoff circle, winning 18 of 28 faceoff, 64.3%. He is definitely a difference maker for Winnipeg. As for Connor Hellebuck, of course, he's got to be a big story in this series. No, he looked okay. No, looked okay. I'm not going to say he looked great, but he looked okay. Not leaky. Didn't look like that shattered lack of confidence guy we saw against St. Louis. Definitely some unfortunate plays in front of him, though, in this one. That first goal did get a little out of position as he kind of made that initial save and really just allowed Rantanen to get his stick in there before Samberg could neutralize him. Samberg was right there trying to take him out. Rantanen just a half a second quicker and gets that goal to go in. And then the third goal, Rantanen, trying to actually pass the puck to Rope Hintz towards the net across the ice, puck deflecting off Samberg from Winnipeg and just catches Hellebuck off guard. Those deflections are really tough for goaltenders. And just what a rough night for Samberg. You feel bad for this guy. Um, really involved in two of those three goals. Trying to do the right thing, obviously, but it's just such a um, moment by moment game. Every little second, if you're a half second behind, half second ahead, it's just very, very tight. And I do expect this series to remain tight throughout. I do hope we can see some of these other injured players come back. Heiskanen for Dallas hasn't played yet. And then on the other side, Morrissey and Stanley for Winnipeg. All three of those guys are very, very important. And hopefully we will see them in game two, but more to come there. Last series, we have Edmonton up 1-0 on the Vegas Golden Knights. That series continues tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For Edmonton, I mean, just another strong third period. This has become such a story now. In third period comebacks, fifth comeback in a row for the Oilers, I do believe. Um, yeah, they just turn it on the third. They kind of get off to these slower starts. They start to pick up their game as it goes on. And by the third period, they're just a freight train again. But man, this one was weird, right? Vegas gets up 2-0 early, both goals from Mark Stone, and it felt like this could get out of hand quickly when you again think about the Edmonton's situation with their net right now. You got Pickard out there, you got Skinner who hasn't played in a while. Like, oh, this could get ugly early, especially at home for Vegas. But after that, Edmonton just kind of dialed it back, did a great job locking things down, got the score back to 1-0 by the end of the first period. And I think if you're an Oiler fan, you're like, okay, we survived. We bad start, but we're right back in this thing. We're right back in this thing. And listen, throughout the game, I mean, the Knights only muster up 17 shots on goal. So that's another, when you think about Washington, that's two teams that you would just expect a lot more out of. But, what Edmonton was able to do defensively really allowed Pickard to settle down and settle in a bit as the game went on. And of course, it was Zach Hyman with the eventual game winner at the 16:58 mark there in the third period. Nice pass from Evander Kane to Hyman near the right circle, snipes it glove side on Aiden Hill, just a real sniper of a shot. So again, another series that should be kind of nip and tuck as we go. Again, that one game two tonight at 9:30. So we will see how the rest of this goes, but should be a lot of fun. Other news around the NHL and the world of hockey. Of course, the NHL announcing officially that the Utah Hockey Club will be called the Utah Mammoth moving forward. Worst kept secret in sports, right? This kind of leaked out a little bit early, but I like it. I like the name. I like the logo. I like the color design. I think it works. I think it works. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you wish they had gone with, Yeti or I know Yeti they couldn't. I think they had an issue with the Yeti, uh, the mug company there. Um, but what do you guys think of the name? I think it's good. I think it works. Like it. Looking forward to adding a mammoth hat to my collection here. Now that that decision is made. Yeah, I also have a Boston Fleet hat coming in too. We'll talk a little PWHL here in a second. Coaching news, starting here with the Boston Bruins. There are some league insiders suggesting that Don Sweeney has requested a meeting with Rick Tocchet. So something to keep our eyes on. Nothing really concrete at this point, but those rumors are out there. Not a surprise, right? Tockett's really one of the top candidates out there. So Sweeney should be requesting an interview. Be interested if we get that interview and how that goes. And then going back on 5-6, Boston Globe writer Connor Ryan in an article, and I will post the link to this article, suggesting that the Bruins could potentially target Dallas Stars assistant coach Misha Donskov. And I'm going to quote here: the 47-year-old Donskov is held in high regard as he was the lone NHL assistant who served on Team Canada's coaching staff alongside head coaches Bruce Cassidy, Peter DeBoer, and Rick Tocchet during the Four Nations face-off. And of course, the GM of that Team Canada, Don Sweeney. So some clear connections there. Joe Sacco, Jay Leach, of course, remaining strong candidates as well. So hopefully more to come here. And in other NHL coaching news, this is from Darren Dreger, and of course, it's all over Twitter X now that he is reporting. See how I'm going to just quote here: "See how the day unfolds," but indications are that Joel Quenneville is going to be the next head coach in Anaheim. Suggestion of an announcement today, so we will most likely hear something about Joel Quenneville re-entering the league in Anaheim. I think it's a great job. I think it's a young upcoming team. Again, they improved by 21 points this year. They've built it well. Get to live in the nice weather out there. I think it's a really good fit. Really good fit. Been talking about Joel Quenneville all year that he's going to get back in the league despite the history and despite what some people think of him. But winning matters, and he's a winner. And I think he is. I would say the right coach. To take that team to the next level. Be curious, right? I mean, is he a little bit old school? Perhaps, but um, yeah, I'm going to be wildly curious to see how this plays out going into next year. But be looking for an announcement most likely later today. There. Moving on to the NHL draft lottery, of course, that went down just a couple of days ago. The New York Islanders, the big winners in this one, moving up 10 spots to that number one spot. Utah also moving up to number four. So with two teams moving up, just the worst news possible. If you're a Boston Bruins fan, you go from having the fifth best chance at the number one pick, and you end up slotting into number seven. So a couple spots down from where most likely you were going to end up. So tough, right? But listen, from all indications from those who have scouted this draft class, um, there's not a lot of drop off in talent when you go from number three, number four to number seven. There's no clear cut, Bedard or Celebrini in this draft. But I do think there'll be good quality players available at number seven, as long as Sweeney just doesn't screw it up this time. Let's still don't screw it up. You should be able to add a top tier talent to the pool, something the Bruins desperately, desperately need. And of course, my hope, being the main Mariners fan that I am here, our ECHL team, that with all these additional picks they have, higher picks in each round, that this might translate to some additional talent in the pool that maybe can come here to the Maine Mariners. That would be really good to see. It'd be very beneficial for the club. It's a good place for development. We've had guys come through here and end up in the league. I know DiPietro spent some time up here, and of course Justin Brazeau from 2 or 3 years ago now. Of course, now he's out in Minnesota. Spent some time here, so yeah. Don Sweeney, take a look at Portland. Take a look at your ECHL affiliate. There's a good place here to develop some talent. Moving on to the PWHL, of course, the playoffs in full swing for the ladies as well as they finishing up their second season. Toronto getting the lead there, 1-0 on Minnesota. And Montreal and Ottawa set to open their series tonight. Just four teams in the playoffs. That Montreal-Ottawa game, 7 p.m. in Montreal tonight. Boston does miss the playoffs in this one. Tiebreaker situation. They had 44 points, and they were part of a three-team tie there, but it's regulation wins that keep them out and allow Ottawa and Minnesota to move on. So, tough break for the Fleet, but yeah, and of course next year this will be an 8-team league, and um, I have no doubt it will continue to grow as the years go on. But if you're interested, good brand of hockey. I've seen some of these games, more physical than maybe you would anticipate. They're good, worth watching for sure. And in ECHL news, of course, their playoffs continuing on. They are in the divisional finals. Just a little update here in the North. Trois Rivières and Norfolk tied 1-1. That series continues tonight, 7:05 down in Norfolk, Virginia. All these games you can catch on Flow Hockey on the intranets. So go check that out. Florida up 2-1 on Orlando. That series continuing on Friday on 7 p.m. down in Orlando. Fort Wayne and Toledo tied 2-2 in their series. It was a 2 overtime game that Toledo won last time. That series continues tonight in Fort Wayne, 7:35 start. And Kansas City 2-0 up on Tahoe. So that series continues on tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 10 p.m. Eastern from Tahoe. Other news from the league, the new ECHL team, the Greensboro Gargoyles, officially announced their affiliation agreement with the Carolina Hurricanes. No surprise here, absolutely perfect fit, great location, and it should be a lot of fun. I think Paul Bissonnette is part owner of that organization, so could be fun. Could be fun. And just keep an eye out. The ECHL should be announcing their schedule soon here for 25-26. Guessing we're going to see something official from the league over the next 7 to 10 days. So always fun to see that new schedule come out. And lastly, there are Maine Nordiques here, North American Hockey League, our juniors league here, tied 1-1 with Rochester. Their series continues on tomorrow night, 7:30 start at the Coliseum, Lewiston, Maine. This is, of course, a best of 5 series here. So game 4 will be on the 10th, 4:30 matinee, and then if needed, back in Rochester for game 5. That will be on the 11th at 7 p.m. So let's go Nords. Let's finish it off here. Got 2 games at home. Be great to secure that and move on. So that's what we have for you guys tonight. Again, as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you do like what you're hearing here on this channel, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification button too. So, as I post videos, you don't have to go to my Facebook and see it. It will just it ding you so you know a new video is out. But enjoy the rest of the hockey this week. Enjoy the weekend if I don't talk to you. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.